back to Reads and Threads. My name's Kate. Hello if you're new here, welcome back if you're joining us again. It's that time of the month again and we are going to be setting up my April TBR. So right when I was originally talking about setting up a channel, I was talking with some of my friends about video ideas that I could use and things that I might want to add into the channel. And one of my friends, Claire, mentioned that in April I should do Aussie April because we're Australian, and I really loved that idea. And so I've actually really been looking forward to my April TBR. So what I have done, and this month I'm going to do my TBR very differently and then my monthly wrap up differently as well. But I have put together a spin wheel that is called Aussie April. So I will screen record while I'm spinning, and that's going to be the way that we pick the books that I'm going to read this month. Now, all of these books are on my TBR already. They are ones that I've either added over the last few months as I've come across new Aussie authors that I want to read, or ones that were already on there. So far, I have added 31 books to this list. And what I'm going to do, instead of reading through the synopses and all that kind of thing, I'm just going to go through the list of books that I have put on here, and I'll pop all of their thumbnails up on the screen as I'm talking about them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick the first book that I'm going to read this month. And then I feel like that will just make it more exciting than me picking 5 or 6 books and then choosing them randomly throughout the month myself. I just thought I would randomize it and then pick whichever one comes up. And then what I'm going to do, instead of waiting till the end of the month and doing my wrap up, I'm actually going to film my wrap up as I go. So I think I might like doing it this way every month, but I just wanted to try it this month to see if I do prefer it. Because what I'm finding is when I'm getting to the end of the month, even if I've written some notes, I'm not really remembering a lot of the feelings that I was getting while I was reading these books and my main points. It's while I'm reading that I have all of my thoughts and emotions that I just really want to share. So I think I'm just going to vlog style my wrap up and film bits as I start the book, about halfway through, and then at the end of my overall feelings. Now, they still won't be spoilery. I don't want to ruin a book for anyone. So I just thought that that would be a better way to do it. And then I can combine all those clips at the end of the month and just put out one big month-long wrap-up vlog style video. So we'll see how that goes. If I do like the way that it's turned out and you guys prefer it to then me just going through the end of the month, I'll probably stick to that kind of way of doing it if I like it a lot better. But I'm really intrigued as to what books are going to come up. So we'll go through what they are and work from there. So I have up first, top of the list, it has probably been on my want to read list for an extremely long time, and that is Ian Irvine's A Shadow on the Glass. It's the beginning of a very large series that I think it's just like a multi-expanded universe, and it has multiple series within it. So I've had and owned a lot of those books. You will have seen them when I did my book tour, but I have never read them, and I really just want to try him and see if he's going to be an author for me. The next one we got is one of my favorite authors, and it's her last fantasy series that she did before she moved on to more historical romance and general books, and they're not really my thing, but I loved her fantasy series, and that is Fiona McIntosh's Royal Exile. So it's the last trilogy of hers that I haven't read. She technically was born in England, but she's lived in Adelaide for a very long time now, and over here we just consider her Australian, so she's in the list. Next, we got another one of my favorite authors, which I have only read one of her trilogies and really enjoyed it, but I have owned a lot of them for a very long time as well, and that's Trudy Canavan. So I have a few of her series on here. The first one is The Priestess of the White, and then I've also realized that she had a kind of standalone companion book come out to her Magician series, and that's called The Magician's Apprentice, and I've never read it, so that one's on here as well. And then we've got her series starting with The Ambassador's Mission, and last but not least, her other last series is Thief's Magic. That's the first books in all of those trilogies that I haven't gotten to, so I'm hoping one of those will come out because I am really looking forward to trying out her other stuff. Next author that I have added on the list, I have technically read a lot of this series already, but it has been so long. So I started this series originally when I was in year 8, so I was 13. I'm now, as of March 30th, 42. So a fair bit of time has moved between me starting this and never actually finishing the series, and I really enjoyed it when I picked it up, so I am hoping that it holds up, and that is Isabella Carmony's Over Newton series. So I'm going to go back to the beginning, start this again, and hope that I can just read all the way through it. I really want to finish this series. It was so good. I just want to know how it ends. And my problem was that when I did start it, I caught up to her so fast. And then I think I had to wait 20 years plus for her to release the ending. So I did get a little disgruntled. She did actually, really up until now, made me not want to start series that weren't fully all out, that I couldn't just binge and go through and know that I could get my hands on everything. I'm going to loosen that a little bit as my YouTube increases, hopefully, and I start reading more of the items that have just come out. I do find that a lot of the time I forget what's happened between books if it's too long between their release dates, and so I do find that fairly difficult. And I do just love getting immersed in a world. But hopefully Over Newton will come up in a spin and I will get to at least start that series again and see how we go. Then move on to, again, an author I really enjoyed. Now, I've mostly read his stuff when he's been working with Amy Kaufman, and that is Jay Kristoff. So I've never actually tried his standalone stuff before, so I'm really looking forward to giving that a go if that comes up. And so the first book in his first trilogy was Nevernight, and then we have his new series, which I don't think is all finished yet, but I'm happy to start it off, and that is Empire of the Vampire. Then another one of the authors that I've really been enjoying over the last few years, and that's Lynette Noni and her Prison Healer series, which I'd love to get started. I think that is actually on my 25 series in 2025, so I would love to have that come up, and that is the Prison Healer. We then have a huge successful author on BookTube right now, and everyone has loved the first book in his new series, and that is The Will of the Many by James Islington. And I have never tried him, and I have heard good things about his other series that I've popped on here, and the first book in that series is The Shadow of What Was Lost. So hopefully one of those comes up. I would really like to see what everyone's hyping about over The Will of the Many. I think that would be really interesting. Everyone seems to really be enjoying it, and I hope that it's just going to be one that I really enjoy as well. Then we have another author that I have had on my want to read list for an extremely long time. At least 20 years, and that's Kate Forsyth, and she's got two series that I've put on here. The first one being The Witches. Now I'm going to butcher this title, so it's The Witches of Elion. I have no idea how to say that, but that's the cover. Hopefully it doesn't matter and I can just skip over that word, or if I get an audio, I can at least figure out the pronunciation. And then her other series, the first book in that one, The Towers of Ravens. Now, I don't think with these, they interlink, so I could just start on either series and that would be fine. I then have another one that I have had on my shelves for a fairly long time, and that's an author called Simon Brown, and the first book in his trilogy, that's Empire's Daughter. Then I came across this just as a cheap ebook, I think it was, at some point. So it's been on my Apple Books for a fair while. I bought it a long time ago, I think. And that's Kylie Lean's book series, and that first book is called Key. We then have Amy Kaufman, and she only has one series that I haven't read of hers yet, I think now, and that's just another duology that she's actually written on her own this time. And again, I've only ever read her either with Megan Spooner or Jay Kristoff, so it'd be interesting to see what I think of her writing on her own, and that is The Isle of the Gods. We then have, and I think you can just see them right at the, can I point to the right spot? Top here. I got those from Fiction and Friction, and we are going to add in Chloe Hodge and her series, her duology, the first one being The Cursed and the Broken. And I absolutely love those covers. They are so pretty, hence they are face out on my shelf. We then have another one that I've had a long time. Again, you can actually see the spine just here on my shelves, but I will pop up the cover, and that is Tansy Rayner Roberts and her series, and the first one is called Power and Majesty. We then move into a lot of one author. I think there's actually 5 or 6 series that I have the first books in on this list, and that is CJ Archer. I have had her books again on my iPad for a long time. The first one's in all of these trilogies, but never actually picked them up and tried them. So I'd really like to do that. So the first one that I've popped on the list is called The Palace of Lost Memories. So I'd love to give that one a go. Then we've got Murder at the Mayfair Hotel, and I think this one will be slightly out of my comfort zone a bit. I tend to lean more towards fantasy, where this is more like an historical mystery, possibly. I don't know too much about it, but hopefully it's good. Then we've got The Watchmaker's Daughter. Again, don't know a huge amount about it. I just know that she's Australian. We then have The Last Necromancer, The Wrong Girl, and then The Librarian of Crooked Lane. So all of these I'm hoping are going to be really good reads, and hopefully one of them will come up so I can just see if I like her as an author, because they just pop up on my list so constantly and I see her name all the time that I just really want to give her a go. We then have one that I have become extremely excited about, mainly due to BookTube, and that is Helen Shearer. I'd never really seen her stuff around before I started watching BookTube, so I'd like to start with Blood and Steel, and then I can hopefully get into the new series that's just come out. But yeah, I want to start at the beginning, so Blood and Steel, but she also has another series when I was looking her up, and the first one of that is A Liar of Bones, so that one looked really interesting as well, so I've added that one in too. We then have a series. I have read the first 2 little novellas in this month, in March, so I'd really like to get to the body of her series in this one, and that is Jay Breeze. So the first book in the actual series on this one is A Crown of Oaths and Curses. So I'm hoping that I really enjoy the bigger novels and getting into the story. So I'm really looking forward to that. She also has another series that is extremely popular with a fair few of the booktubers that I do watch. And the first book in that series is Broken Bonds. So I would like to try that one as well and see how I enjoy that. We then move on to our last couple of books, and we have one by a Tasmanian author that I have heard about over the years but never actually read any of her work, and that is W.R. Gingell, and her first book is called Between Jobs. So she has a fair few in this series, so I'm hoping that I really like it, and then I'll be able to continue on with those. And then last but not least, I'm going to add in another Fiona McIntosh, and this is the first one of her detective series. Again, a little bit more out of my comfort zone. I don't read a huge amount of crime, but I know Fiona McIntosh's writing style. I really like it, so I'm hoping that I'll like her mystery series. And the first one in this series is Bye Bye Baby. Okay, now it's actually time to pick our first read, and I'm super excited to know what it's going to be. So what I'm going to do, I have it on my iPad, so I'm going to screen record my iPad and then I'll pop the screen record up on the camera and we will be able to see that. So here we go. I'm just going to tap the spin wheel and see what we get. So we actually got A Crown of Oaths and Curses by J. Bree. So that's going to be our first read, and we will hopefully continue enjoying this series. It's been great so far. I'm liking the characters that she set up, so hopefully the full-length novel is going to be just as good. So what I will do now is I'm going to hide that slice, so that's no longer part of the game. I'm hoping I can shuffle the slices so that when we spin again, it doesn't look as pretty, but next time it will be ready to go and we will be able to get our second book. So I will keep you updated as I go through the month on what I am reading and how it's going and my thoughts at the end of each book. And then I will also add in the new spins each time so that everyone can see me spinning for the books, and then that can all come out as one big wrap-up vlog at the end of the month. And hopefully this format really works, and if it doesn't work, we'll try something else next time. Okay, so A Crown of Oaths and Curses by J. Bree. I did just get it up on Goodreads and I thought I would read through the little synopsis that they have up on there so we all know what we're going to be getting into and move on from there. So it says, I devoted my life to a king who was not my own. On the road to ultimate honour and glory, I lost everything. Now in a world ravaged by the whims of those who rule, I must turn my back on a lifetime of friendships and loyalties to face my own fate, the savage prince. Heir to the high fae throne of the southern lands, he is known for his brutality and cold heart, but with a kingdom on the brink of ruin, I have no choice but to seek him out. The war between the fae and the witches rages, and there's no end in sight. My destiny is clear. Help the prince defeat his enemies before it's too late. One small problem. I am Rooksbane, a evening star, the favoured child returned, a witch of the woods, the greatest enemy of my fae's blessed mate. Well, that does sound intriguing. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, I have read the 2 beginning novellas to this series. Really enjoyed those, so hopefully I will enjoy this one as well and look forward to see where the story is going to take us. If you like this video, please leave a comment. What are you planning on reading in April? Are you going to do something similar? If you would like to join along with me, that would be great. I think Aussie April could be a lot of fun. So feel free to leave me a comment, like this video. If you'd like to see more content from me, please subscribe. I'd love to have you come along and join in and start some discussions with people. I think it would be great. And I hope wherever you are having a wonderful day. We'll see you next time. Bye.